Alrighty, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are back. I am back. It's been a couple weeks, and it's good to be back and get to talk with you guys and check out what you guys been doing for a couple weeks without me and hearing your stories and sharing what I did and everything. And well, it's a lot to talk about today. So, anyways, thanks everyone for joining me. It's going to be a very quick show. 2 hours is going to go by very, very quickly, I bet. So it's good to have everyone back. I'm still alive, as you can see. Still me in the flesh. I knew you were very excited to have me come back. So how you guys did you miss me? First of all, Ruff, did you miss me?
I refuse what is it? I thingy the 5th, isn't it?
I'll respond with, you may think that, but I couldn't possibly
comment. Yes, that's House of Cards, that is. Yeah. No, of course we did. Of course we did.
We're very happy that you're back, Chester.
Yeah. And we did have a couple of good weeks with a couple of good guests. So
yeah, I was going to say you had Hex to Hex last week. I did check out that video. Who was it the first weekend?
That was Nerdy.
Oh, Nerd. Yeah. How did Nerd do?
He was all right.
Did he complain about how I beat him down and just beat him and destroyed him playing fighting formations?
Oh, fighting formations.
Yeah. I don't remember that.
No, we were talking about fighting formations because it's about replayability, and he mentioned that it's got great replayability, and I've got to give it a bit of a, like you say, you said before, no, and then no, I've got to give it a second chance. So we'll see how we go with that.
But yeah, that went well. And then we had Hex to Hex last week, which was great, and on the Civil War. So a lot of discussion of GBACW, and he's got me almost convinced to jump in on it. I have to think about it a little bit more, maybe watch some playthroughs of it to see. But
nice, Phoenix. Very nice. I tell you, it's hard. I get it from these two. Now I get it from the
amount of people we damage. It's
get it from the chat now too. I tell you.
Yeah, let's get to see who's down in the chat.
I'm just gonna flip through, and why don't you
Hey, Dave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, us, you traitors. Happy Independence Day.
Yes. And so, as most of you know, I've been gone 17 days on a trip. The reason for this trip, it was our 25th wedding anniversary yesterday.
Oh,
yes, we got married. We got married in the island of Bermuda.
Oh.
25 years ago yesterday on Independence Day, I became a married man. How does that work out? I don't know. So
it's an oxymoron, isn't it? An oxymoron.
Exactly. So, anyways,
so does that mean
gang's all getting here? So that's good.
Does that mean we need to share this?
Yeah.
This with you. There you go.
Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary. Pour a cheerful toast and fill it, happy anniversary. But be careful you don't spill it, happy anniversary. Oh, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
There you go.
Lovely. Very nice. Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. It's 25 years. So
that's awesome.
Whew. All right. So anyways, Ruff, talk to me. What have you been up to for the last couple of weeks?
Well, I'm still trying to get In the Shadows out because I was ready to publish, and I thought I'd just check it. And
Wait a minute. Weren't you doing that when I left?
Yes, but it's there. It's done. You know what I'm like. I'm a perfectionist, so it's going to be out hopefully, or the first part next week. But I couldn't have put it out because there was a silly mistake that would affect the thing all the way through. But luckily, I caught it, so I had to re-video that. But it's been a busy last few days. But Wednesday we played with Tony. We played the last Tewkesbury from Men of Iron series, and I won. He abandoned the field like they did in them days. And then yesterday, on July the 4th, we played Monmouth from the second tri-pack of Battles of the American Revolution. And the designer, Mark Miklas, was in the chat. And then we eventually got him onto the stream, and he was there talking about, why you should buy, not because they've redone it, but evidently the new tri-pack has got all the new counters in, the rules have been tidied up and all that, because I think Monmouth especially was one of the early ones. So he's coming on the show next Friday when we do part 2. So I've been busy playing games anyway. So that's what I've been up to. What about you, you guys?
Well, I've got a bit. It's been a busy week for me. I took the week off to work on dissertation stuff, but when I wasn't, I had some time to play some games. And so one was Monday. My group friends, we finished up the War and Peace Grand Campaign, made it to when we left off last Saturday, when we came on the show, it was December 1805. Napoleon was at the gates of Vienna, and looks like the Austerlitz was going to happen, and the Austrians were gonna lose. And then all of a sudden, Napoleon goes to battle and doesn't really do very well. Here you go. You want to respond in live time,
Jeff? I think you should.
Go ahead. I'm not going to interrupt you, my friend.
Oh, okay. All right. So anyway, but what happened in the campaign is that the French had to retreat. They had to retreat all the way back. They didn't take Vienna.
They're quite used to that. They're very good at that.
They're very good at that. And the campaign, we sort of called it in May of 1806. The Prussians were going to come in, and it was kind of going to be the end for the French. And so we called it. So that was good. Then I learned myself. I finally learned how to play, and actually did enjoy playing Labyrinth.
Oh,
yeah. Actually, I understand.
Who did you play with?
Huh?
Who did you play with?
I just played it by myself.
Really?
Yeah, I went through. There's actually a really, really, really good in the playbook tutorial.
I think the reason you went, ooh, you've played that solo, I think what he's actually done, he's got someone in the science department of the uni to clone him.
That's right. That's right. But there's an awesome 2-player tutorial that it's kind of neat. It's similar to a Jerry White kind of thing of read this bit of the rule book. Now do this. Read this, do this. And I made the mistake when I first was learning it years ago, was doing the 1-player example. And that was my problem, because I didn't learn all of the mechanics first before getting to the solitaire. So nothing made sense to me until I had to go back and to start learning it. And finally figured it out. I understood what was going on, because it's very asymmetric, as you guys know. And I actually enjoy it. I played a few games of this. I played both this version, but then also the digital version. I played that because that has the bot that does it for you anyway. So I played that. Then then I pulled out a magazine game called Caesar in Gallia. Was going through that, and rules. It's a little rough. I can see what it's doing. Seems interesting. I'll have to give it a little more time on this. But then, oh my goodness, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. There's more games, more games. I started playing Mr. President.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Great.
and it's fun. I was playing again the 2001 scenarios. So we're doing okay and in there. But then
Did you do it on Vassal or like actual
on Vassal?
You did it on
I
Vassal.
think, to be fair, I mean, I love when you set it up, but it's so big. I think this is the one game I think that would play better on tabletop or Vassal or whatever they've got it on.
Yeah. I
prefer
it on. Yeah, I prefer it on Vassal. I still will use all of the booklets though. I prefer the physical booklets in front of me as opposed to trying to click and
no, there,
Yeah.
no. I'm with you there. You there.
But then I decided, you know what? I got some games on my 10 game list that I need to play.
I've seen the pictures. You've been going bonkers this week.
Yeah, so I pulled out this, the Dark Summer that was on my list. And let me just share because I did post.
Oh, here we go. Look, they're lovely photos.
They are lovely, aren't they?
They are gorgeous.
They are lovely. Yes, look at that. The Dark Summer. It's a great looking game. We got the Commonwealth beaches, the American beaches, and just I like the box cover. This was the end of the game right here. That the Americans couldn't quite make it to Avranches to exit to the Brittany box. But if you notice on the VP track that right here, that the Allies only won by 3 VPs. So it was a close game all the way to the end. But let's see. Now I can stop sharing. Then I went. And then I played the next game on my list. So I posted it on Tack Up. So that was game number 4. Then there was game number 5, France 1944. And I believe I have a picture of that too.
You would, wouldn't you?
Of course. Let's get that. There we go. Let's get that up. Another great game. Great looking game. So it starts kind of where the Dark Summer ends, as the right before Operation Cobra and the breakout across France, and my game. I actually ended it in October. Let me move forward here. So here's there's different scenarios in the game that all start in the same spot with the Allies in the bocage. And then it just kind of each of the scenarios have different endpoints. So scenario 1 was the Falaise pocket. I won that handily. The Allies did, I should say. But then this is where I ended up. And by October of 1944, the Allies are way behind schedule. I mean, Aachen, the battle for Aachen was in September, and I'm in October. I'm way behind. I haven't even got there yet. Just got to the Siegfried line. So I kind of called it right then and there. But that was a lot. It was a lot of fun to play. So that's all the games that I played just this week.
Wow. When I was playing 8 to 10 games a week, nobody ever gave me, nobody really cared. But okay, great. I'm glad you shared that with us.
Yeah.
I think the
Very
difference was that they were, war games, I think. But anyway.
I did. That's how you're working on dissertation. How? So, it just does.
Oh, yeah. Talking about that with Herman, have you seen he put a couple of the sort of, what are they, counters or cards, I think they are, from his new expansion, More of a Bad Thing. There's Tweez in there, and me and you are in there. Have you seen it?
Really?
Yeah, have you not seen them?
No.
Let me try and get them up then while you yak away for a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try and get them up. Hold on, I'll try and go on to the thing. Where are we?
You tried to carry me. Oh, you cared. Oh, okay. Thanks. Thanks, nerd. And I appreciate you just filling in for me a couple weeks ago. Thanks a lot. I knew you had some pretty heavy shoes to fill, and I appreciate it. So.
Yeah.
People are commenting how much I did. Yeah, I still did work on my dissertation. I got good research in, so.
Right, let's see if I can. Oh, doodly-doo. How do we share this? Share screen. Right, let's have a look.
Nordic, I'll catch up to you. I'm one game behind, I guess.
I'm not sure. Yeah, here we go. They're only little pictures, but here we are. Does that come up?
Yep.
I'm sorry, it's not. That's not me. That's somebody else. And then you got
Mike Butter Jelly's Bakery. Nice. Blue tweezer and skeeters.
They're horribly disfigured bright blue mosquitoes. About sums him up, I think.
Oh, that's yep. What you need to do is make sure you don't give away all the rules on that card, so that way you can leave people in the dark about what the actual rules are for that one.
Or if Herman made a reference to Tide of Iron.
Oh, that would be funny. Yes, for sure. That'd be awesome. These are good.
Yeah, good fun, aren't they? I mean, yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, I do have a quick public service announcement for everyone.
Right.
Okay. If you will indulge me for a moment.
Sure.
So on the GMT update that was posted in June, it mentions in here that there is their first batch coming across to the U.S., including Barbarossa, Army Group North, all the Space Empire stuff, and Talon, that those will be charged on July 11th. So that's next week. So if anyone was interested in getting anything that is coming out here soon from GMT, then get it in by July 11th so you can get the P500 price before it's charged. So I just thought I would let everyone know.
Interesting to see how they're going to work that out for us guys over this side of the world, being shipped directly from China. So it'll be interesting to see how much cheaper, evidently, the shipping will be.
Mm-hmm. And Thomas provides us an update with Black Flight. He says that it's delayed just a few more days. So
where's that?
It's near the top.
It's sort of middle-ish.
Yeah.
It says update in caps on Black Flight.
Update. Oh, all right. Sorry.
There we go.
All right.
Well, we always want to make sure that people who watch the show are well informed of what is going on in the wargaming world.
We like to keep their finger. I mean, I know Dan does a great job, but if he misses anything out, and we got the actual peeps in the chat, so we like to get hot off the press.
That's right.
There's my Warframe buddy there. It's because of her that I play as much Warframe as I do now. So if anyone wants to blame anyone, blame her.
Well, no, the thing is, she's come over to the dark side over this, isn't she? So she seems to be getting interested in the war game, not the Warframe.
I don't know about that, but we'll see.
But she's always welcome,
That's right. So
Good to see Blast Pop as well. I hope you're doing,
Yeah,
doing
it's
well.
real good to see some people I haven't seen for a while, so that's good. And Doug Sessions, good friend of the channel, been on here many, many times. I was actually playing Warframe with him last night for several hours.
Oh, really?
So a little crossover there as well. So that's always good to see. And speaking of crossover, while I was gone on my trip, we went through Canada, Newfoundland. Then we spent a couple days in Greenland. Then we went up to Iceland. And I actually saw the last British barracks on Iceland. So it's still there's still a barracks from World War II on Iceland from the Brits, and
they were invaded.
And I took tons of pictures.
They were happy to be invaded.
Names.
Yeah, rather than the other lot that were.
So was the Faroe Islands as well.
Yeah. Faroe Islands, yeah, the Faroes, yeah.
This is quite interesting, though. Yes, it is. This is the other side of what I do. When I'm not playing the Warframe stuff. So,
let me ask this: as soon as you landed, and as soon as you walked in the door at home, did you go immediately to start playing Warframe?
I did log in. Yeah. Here the thing is,
I'm just messing with you.
No, it's a multiplayer.
Yeah, sure.
What's the word? It's an MMO, right?
Right.
So the whole thing about the MMO is just they want you to log in every day. They want you to play, blah blah blah. So I had an app on my phone, so that way I could keep everything building, because you can only build things once a day and blah blah blah.
William.
So
that's not fair. Combat 3. Oh,
this afternoon. Wow. That's very nice.
Good job. I still got some birthday money left then, isn't it?
Yeah, Nordic, there we go.
Yeah. There will be an intervention if it carries on, I tell you. We'll get a ring of us around him. We'll do an intervention.
I thought it was very interesting because, on our trip, away from the world, away from everything, out in the middle of nowhere, there was several things that happened that caught my attention. And I was like, oh, I should text Ruff and make sure he talks about it. Because the one day World War I had started and World War I had ended. And I didn't realize that World War I started and ended on the very same day.
Well, hostilities carried on until the 11th of November. That's why we have that minute's silence on the 11th of the 11th at the 11th hour.
No, he's meaning as in like June 28th is when obviously the Archduke was assassinated.
Oh, right, yeah.
June 28th is also when the Treaty of Versailles.
The Treaty of Versailles started, but
that's the official end.
Yeah, but it still carried on, didn't it? So,
no,
it was sorry, that's the year 1919. Sorry, 1919.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, but
on the cruise ship there was this, the huge wall, and they had like a little mural thing, and every day they would post up like today, it was almost like Ruff Remembers. Every day I got to read Ruff Remembers. It was great.
It was
everything that happened.
Was there any airplane history? Was there any airplane history at all?
There was no airplane history.
Not known for their aircraft.
And here's the other thing. It wasn't mostly British history either. It was mostly like normal history stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, as I keep saying, we have to wait until the late 18th century before you chaps pop your head round the door. But yeah, sorry, yes, that's right. So we got the Versailles 1919 Act. It's the same day as old what's his name got shot. So
I didn't realize that, because it was like, it was cool because every day we'd walk down the hallway to our room, after dinner, and they would have all the stuff on the wall, and I would read it and it was like, rough remembers as I was going, going to bed. It was great. It was like a little thing.
Gemma, they're not books, they're games. She's saying she's amazed.
These
by
are
everybody's,
books.
No, they're books, yeah.
Yeah.
And those are that bookshelf on the right is game.
That's just a mess.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Mine's a little more messy. I have a few extra things. So.
Well, if you could see, this is like newsreaders not wearing any trousers because you don't see them, yeah, because they're sitting behind a desk. You don't see what the mess that's either side of me. So
yeah, that's the thing.
And then there's me. It's just clean as can be.
The other thing I found very interesting was, and I should have been more prepared. I took lots of photos of the signs because we got out in the downs and we're walking around, and some of the names would blow your mind away just trying to like read some of these words that were on buildings and stuff. And it's like, I mean, 18 to 20 characters is
I know
nothing.
They're worse than the Germans.
Yeah, it's like crazy.
Things, this is the place where you buy the tickets at the railway station. That's what they do.
It's like almost like Welsh.
Welsh is just they have no word for bag. Seriously, because again, bag. Bless them.
One of the greatest Warframe players of all time. Thank you very much,
Doug. What you are? He's after a badge, isn't he? He's after a what we call a badge. What do you call him? A pin?
Yeah. What's with the? I don't see it on our end, but what's the thing with the crowns now that appear?
What's that?
Yeah, I don't know that either.
That
Yes, certain people are number one.
Oh,
some are number
yes,
two.
I see. You have to go onto the YouTube bit. Yes.
Yeah, it's
I don't know what they are.
Yeah,
I've been noticing that. That happened after I came back from my trip.
I wonder if they're like, I don't know if the top ones.
Oh, they're top fans and things. Yes. If you click on one, it says top fans, and it lists all their names.
Yes. So the main claim to fame for Iceland is fermented shark fin is their delicacy. We did not have the opportunity on our ship to taste that, but
good. I think good is the response there.
I wasn't going to eat it anyways. So,
because is it the Norwegian one where they keep it in a tin and it's like fermented in a tin? It's like fish, and if you open it, everybody in a 3-mile radius knows you're having it for dinner.
Yeah, I think so.
Vile. Yeah.
It's crazy. But it was a great trip. It was very low key. I got to do my little Warframe every day. I was logging into my little app and making sure I was building all my stuff so I could.
Herman commented about that. He said, "I guess the app interferes with his text messages too."
Oh, what a wag he is! What a wag. Yeah, it's some sort of this. It doesn't hurt anything. It just shows you who's commenting the most. I think.
I was just curious. That's why. I
I think I've noticed it, and I didn't realize it was on every live stream. But there we are. Obviously, is.
Yeah, it was a good trip. It was fun to be away. It was a very long trip. I don't know if we'll be doing like that long a trip anymore. It was,
and another
after a week, it's like, okay, I'm done, and then you still got like another week and a couple days to go, and it was. And I'll tell you what. Here's the other thing, and it doesn't show up in games, all right? But like the Atlantic Ocean is not flat; it is up and down, left and right, and ooh boy, I mean it is.
Watch Das Boot to see what it's like. It's nice when you're underneath, but my goodness me.
Yeah, you see the cover of Wolfpack with the scene.
Yeah,
I mean, we were on a pretty big ship, and it was still rocking. It was, I enjoyed it because I like that motion. You know, you always see me, I'm kind of rocking anyways and moving back and forth. So I don't mind it, but my wife was not after a couple of days. She was not in the mood.
Got a bit fed up with it. Yeah. No, it's not a kind sea, the arithmetic,
No.
you know. So yes.
And it's very beautiful, but it's all very samey after one little village, after the next little village, after the next little village. It's like, okay, I've seen it all.
Well, it's not very big, is it, Iceland, to be fair? But you're moaning about the trip. What about when I eventually come over? It's on my bucket list. I'm going to be bemoaning the fact that how many hours it took to get from London to wherever, over your part of the country. So
7 or 8 hours to get over here.
Yeah.
It's a 5-hour flight from Reykjavik, Iceland to Boston. 5 hours.
Well, that's a bit quicker. Yeah.
And we actually had first class, which was the first time in our ever. We actually.
You mean you could stretch your legs out? Is that what
I could actually stretch my legs out? Yes. And the other thing is, you get like they don't tell you this, but in the airport, there's like a special area you can go to that has like restrooms and showers and food and all kinds of stuff in there for you.
Because you're on first class. Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool.
So, Jester, what's the topic for today?
The topic for today is things that are in war games that you wish weren't in war games. For example, I'll give you an example. I've talked about this many times. Things that I wish were not in the war game box, but are. Number one, inserts. Like the inserts that come in the box, how many times do we throw those inserts away? Well, 95% of the time, those inserts are gone, right?
Yeah.
But they design them, they create them, they spend a lot of money organizing their.
It's as I said before, we've had this to stop the stuff rattling about. All they need to do is put a couple of game trays in it, counter trays, and it's sorted, isn't it? We'd be happy too, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Except I don't really use the GMT trays anymore once I found the Cube for Me trays.
Oh, you've gone all European, haven't you?
I have. Yeah, they're very nice.
So there's a lot of things we're going to talk about with things that are in war games that we wish just weren't there.
The same thing.
Thanks, Blast Pop.
Another thing we'll talk about it is errata. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Like there's errata in my war game and I wish it wasn't there. Why is there errata? But anyway, so that's our subject today is we're going to talk about things that are in wargaming.
See, they're off already. They're tinkers, the chat. They're tinkers. They don't hold back. They don't wait. They're off.
They're ready to talk about it, I guess. That's why I wasn't even going to mention our subject.
Yeah.
But so
the dice.
Yeah. I dare say he's going to mention one of the things that shouldn't be in a war game is the dice.
Well, that's another thing I was going to say. Is,
me and my big mouth. Sorry.
You don't need dice in the game box. You don't need
Save it. No.
So
you don't.
So
you know what? There was a game that came out. It's called
wait, an actual war game?
No.
The book game.
I mean, what about fighting formations? I'm glad they put the dice in the game because look how many you get. Look how many you have to play. I don't want to take them out of my collection. So thank you, GMT. Still on the sidelines about this game.
Haven't bought it yet myself.
I'm going to give it another go.
I have done. I know I told both of you in the green room, but it might surprise some people that I actually went through and am getting rid of games. I have culled 30 games out of my collection that I will not be playing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a list of these games? Did you post it?
Are you selling them? Do you want to sell them?
I have sold them to some friends already. I'm giving them the first go before I decide what to do with the rest of them. But
before they go out to the World Wide Web sort of thing. Yeah,
correct. Or who knows? It might even be easier just to put them all in a box, send them to Noble Knight, and say, "Give me, store credit or whatever." Maybe I can use it to get fighting.
Hold on. See what Jamie put about using a dice app. That's fine if you're that way inclined, but can you picture going to Las Vegas and going up to the craps table and they go, "Where's the dice?" "No, just push this button, sir." You go, "Get out of here! I've got to give
They do that now with they do that with everyone in the slot machines. You don't put any coins in; you hit the button.
But
can you? Because the reason
you don't pull the lever anymore.
No, there is. We've had them
push the button. That's all.
Quite a few years. We've had these quite a few years over here. But anyway, what I'm saying about the dice, you want to give the luck. Come on, whack. And it's the same when I roll dice in a game, any game. I like to come on. So apps are a bit like Vassal dice. They're soulless.
I'm not disagreeing with using physical dice, but
no, I'm just
have enough dice from all the different games that you own. You don't need any more dice.
But I like them.
That's great. You can take the dice from one game and put it into another game.
I'm only mucking about, but for me, I don't care because I open the box and the dice are in there, ready to go.
There you go.
Still not the same, Jamie.
I know. I can't. I have accepted the fact. Here's the thing. I have accepted the fact that I am at least 5 to 10 years ahead of where everyone else is. Like 5 to 10 years ago, I was the one complaining about making sure that there was bags in the games and all that stuff.
Jester is our Steve Jobs of wargaming.
Yeah,
I've just accepted that I am like 5 to 10 years ahead of you guys. I'm sorry.
So in 5 or 10 years, wargaming will have been dead because everybody's moved on to Warframe.
In 5 to 10 years, Wargames are going to say, you know what? We're not going to redesign the box so we can put 2 10-sided dice in our box anymore. We're not going to do that. It's going to cost us too much money to design the game, design the insert so that I can put 2 10-sided dice in there.
So this young person has gone to the shops and bought his or her first war game. They're all excited. Oh, this looks fun. It's my first war game. My first ever game like this, and he opens it up. Requires 2 D10s.
Supply your own.
Yeah. He'll go. That's it.
You're right. He's probably going to take it back to the store because he can't get 2 T10s. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have to think about it in terms of one of the reasons that board games, not just war games, but board games have exploded in popularity over the last several years and continue to explode in popularity over the last from now to whenever is it's tactile, it's tangible. People like physical components. The point of playing a board game is to move away from a cell phone, from a screen,
from a tippy tappy.
Yes, and people like interacting with real people because especially like during COVID, like couldn't do anything, couldn't see anybody, and everything was on a screen. And I will say people definitely in my age group and younger are moving much quicker towards physical stuff because they didn't have that for quite a while. I mean, depending on where you were in the world, those restrictions on COVID lasted a lot longer than here in the States, and depending on what state you were in. So people missed being able to see one another and actually talk to one another. And so board games is part of that, is part of moving away from all of the screens and like that, and actually having something that you actually own, that you possess, that this is something that is in my house and it is mine, that I bought it. It's not oh, my phone died, so I can't now have any, have any dice. I don't have any dice for my games. My phone's dead. Or, excuse me, I need to pull up my phone so I can play my game. And oh, look, I got a text message, and look, like this happened and everything. All this
everything you say is absolutely true, right? But you're kind of going off the deep end, because like let's talk about like Thomas and his book game and Tally Ho. Like, how many people bought Tally Ho? How many people went and bought the book game Tally Ho, which doesn't come with dice? You have to supply your own. I didn't hear anyone, not one person out there complain that game didn't come with dice. Not one person complained.
I don't think that was ever an expectation, because it was a book game.
It's never an expectation that when I buy a
customers generally don't care. There is no expectation of, if I buy a book game, then it doesn't come with dice. I mean, the expectation in a book game is I buy it and I have to make my own pieces
and counters. Yes, that's what you expect. Can you imagine going to the shops and buying a game, Monopoly, coming home, opening it up, and where's the bloody dice? There'd be riots.
Oh my God. So you think there's going to be riots if there's not dice in war games, yet there is electronic devices that come and are being sold without batteries. Like, you can't do anything. You have to buy the batteries now.
Everything comes, most things come with
No, that's
batteries.
not true at all. That's not true at all.
No, you'd say that anyway. But the things you buy, I'm talking about, doesn't come with batteries.
Think about electronics.
There's going to be riots in this street over.
Yeah, it was a jokey comment. Don't think there's going to be murder and mayhem on the street because there's not dice in Monopoly.
I get my sign and go protest.
Get a grip. Get a grip. So it was just a silly aside.
There's going to be a riots in the street if you don't have dice in the game, because it's an expectation.
Because it's an expectation.
Stop doing air quotes in your box.
Bunny rabbit, stop it. Anyway, we'll save this for later. Gone quiet. Somebody say something, Nate.
So I appreciate I appreciate that there is a thought process of that we want to like is it okay, I apologize, I'm thinking out loud because I'm still processing what Jester's saying about removing dice from a game. And
what happened if Yahtzee turned up with no dice?
Right.
I'm
just curious, is it, Jester, is your idea of removing dice from a game just because it is available elsewhere? Is that the main argument?
Well, there's two reasons why. Okay. The dice are there for a reason, so you can play the game, obviously, but they have to design how things lay in the box so that everything is flat and organized, even though you have these two little six-sided dice that you have to account for. Those are not just automatically,
I guess
you can't just throw those on top of the box. You have to arrange everything so that it's, you're not having things, you can't have, I mean, you want to talk about having people upset. Like if they try to send out counter sheets and they're warped because they're sitting on top of dice, Ruff would have a cow. Ruff would literally.
What's your name? Bart Simpson. What's going on? I'm just laughing at the comments. Man murdered because his dice got stolen. Dice lives matter. Right on.
Yes, dice lives matter. Right. So that's
guess-
so you have to organize and design the box so that everything can lay flat and not lay on the dice. You have to have inserts that the dice will fit in. So you're spending a lot of time trying to organize your box just for stupid dice when you don't need them.
I mean,
There isn't a game out there that we would need dice for.
I mean, one, I have never heard ever from any company, from any designer, publisher, whomever, ever say, we've had to change the design of our box because the dice. I've never heard that ever. I've never heard anyone make that argument saying, we have to change.
Let's do this. I'll tell you what, let's do this. We'll save this till we get a brand new game in. And we'll open the box up, we'll unwrap it, we'll take the shrink wrap off, and we'll see how they organize the box layout based upon the dice being in the box.
Sure. Actually, you know what? I got a game here that still has the insert in it. It basically is new. It's just, I kept the insert, kept everything because it was useful. Something like, I don't know, say Mr. President. And let's see here. So we open up
No
Mr.
insert.
President.
Look. No insert.
That's not how the game came, Ruff. That's
how the game came.
That's not how the game came. I can guarantee you that's not how the game came.
That's how the game came.
That's not how the game came.
You haven't got it. I've got it. I've just taken the shrink wrap off. That's how the dice. That's how the game came.
We'll
there
have
is no insert in it.
Now, gentlemen. Now,
just saying. Don't say that's not how the game came.
When you can unwrap a game from scratch, and we'll see how the layout of the game was designed.
Look what I have. So here is the insert still in there. That I leave it in there for the cards. And guess what? The cards were wrapped, obviously. And there was 2 dice sitting in there, and everything still fits in the box. And so the dice were meaningless to the packaging of the game because they were so small compared to the number of cards that were in the game.
But they don't design the inserts. What do you think the inserts are designed for? Let's talk about the
normally. The cards.
Well, part of it is, yes, if there is a lot of cards in the game.
Designed, no, it's not for cards. It's not for dice.
Right, wrong again.
Anything. What it's designed to do is keep everything level and flat. That's what the inserts are there for, right? So if your cards and your dice fit in the little pocket, then that's what they're designing it for. They're going to design it so there's a little hole so your cards and your dice and everything fits in there. That's what the insert's there for.
Ian,
what do you think
idea.
the insert's for?
Lock and load.
I'm out. I'm out to go get some more.
What do you think the insert's for?
Well,
to annoy you, I think.
Partly. So inserts are
it's got all inserts are there to keep everything. Well, Mike will tell you what the inserts there. Inserts are there so that you can keep everything level and flat. If you had nothing but counter sheets and rule booklets and charts, you wouldn't need an insert. Why would you need an insert? Somebody tell me, why would you need an insert? You wouldn't need one, right? The only reason you need an insert is so that you can put cards on dice or whatever other bullshit you want to put in your game and keep everything level and flat. That's why I have a problem with dice in games, because it's a resource that game companies are using which costs a lot of time, money, and effort for no reason, because we don't need their stupid dice. We don't need them.
I don't see it at all. I don't see it at all.
I don't. But that's the thing is I've have different opinions.
I don't know how you can't see it. How can you not see it?
Because we have a different opinion to you.
So the answer is, why is there inserts in a game box? So let's start there.
One, I'm trying to answer.
Listen to what Nate and Ruff have to say about inserts in the game box.
So hold on.
Go on, Nate. Go on.
Patience while I answer.
Good boy. Right.
So this is the teacher in me. One, inserts are, as you say, are included in a game, particularly like a GMT game, that they're used to keep the components secure in the box so they don't rattle around and damage inside the box. Now, of course, doesn't always help when the box that it comes in it gets damaged from the mailman throwing it about and it's rummaging around in the mail truck, but that's besides the point. But it's meant to keep the components together. But it is also, depending on the game, is also a useful storage solution for that game. I'll give you an example. Game that I've had for a long time that I still use the insert because I don't need to do anything else to keep the game organized. Labyrinth. I still have the insert. In fact, the game itself, as you can see, I have the cards in plastic bags on one end, and all the counters and all of the dice and everything on this end. And the map, everything else sits nicely flat on top, and everything stays in the box and it's organized. So partly it is an organization method. Now, when it comes to I'll go back to what I mentioned before. It doesn't matter what component, whether it's dice, whether it's little cubes or anything like that. I've never heard from a war game company, a designer, anybody, even a Euro game designer or a Euro game company or a publisher ever say, oops, we have to increase the size of our box because there's just
I'm not saying you have to increase the size of your box. I'm not saying any of that.
Anything, any change whatsoever.
You have to design the insert so that your dice and everything will fit in it. Go look at every game that comes. You will see the insert and what's going to be inside the insert. You're going to see the cards. You're going to see the dice. You're going to see your cubes. You're going to see all the parts they want you to put in the insert.
Sure. I mean, that's fine. But I've never seen any company say that we have to. That we have.
Say it's common sense. We just got done saying why the inserts are there.
Yeah.
Okay. So why would a company say, well, we're putting an insert in the game so we can keep everything flat and level for you guys?
I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, true. It is. That's normal. It's not something that a company would say. Okay. But
so, I mean, why are you saying that?
But to have an argument to say that we need to remove dice because then it will help out repackaging games because now it'll be easier to design putting things in a box because there are no dice.
Let's see. If I have, okay, so if I have a game like the Dark Summer that has nothing but counter sheets and
one die
and counter sheets and player aids and rule booklets and everything is flat except for 2 dice. Does the Dark Summer come with the player? Does it come with a insert in it?
It does.
The reason it comes with an insert in it is because of what? 2 stupid dice that come in the game.
It's actually 1.
1 dice, whatever. So that is a resource that the game company is putting into to make it more convenient for you because of 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 dice, whatever it is, which is a resource that they shouldn't be putting into, which is costing us, which is costing them a lot of money in production, which is then getting transferred over to us and the cost of how much our games are going to cost. These games are going to cost a lot more because Think of the Dark Summer. If they didn't have to include an insert for it, and they didn't have to include the dice, how much cheaper do you think they could make it for?
I think it's negligible. I mean, I don't see how it's going to change anything, to be honest. I mean, it's great that you don't want dice in the game. That's fine. There's no problem with it. You can use whatever you want to roll your dice, but to say that it's going to have an impact, a positive impact on the prices and customer experience and all that, to remove something that people expect in their games, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. So, and that's fine. I mean, you're not going to convince me. You're not going to convince Ruff, but we do appreciate that you shared it.
All right.
Doesn't make you right. And I think we've discussed this enough. We've had one person leave already. So let's move on, peeps. Thank you. From Dicegate.
I mean, it's
Plastic bag gate.
Let's move on, Jester. Let's move on.
I agree. It is time for our segments.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about British history then.
Well, actually, this is a weird one. It happens sometimes that the first thing that happens is in the late 18th century. So, of course, you guys are involved. First one I got is 1775. Very apt. The Second Continental Congress adopts the Olive Branch Petition. This Second Continental Congress was the meetings of delegates from the 13 colonies that united in support of the American Revolution and Revolutionary War, which established American independence from the British Empire. The Congress constituted a new federation that it first named the United Colonies of North America, and in 1776 renamed it the good old US of A. This Olive Branch Petition, though, was adopted by the Second Continental Congress on July the 5th, 1775, and signed on July the 8th in a final attempt to avoid war between Great Britain and the 13 colonies in America. The Congress had already authorized the invasion of Canada more than a week earlier, but the petition affirmed American loyalty to Great Britain and entreated King George III to prevent further conflict. It was followed by the July the 6th declaration of the causes and necessities of taking up arms, however, which made its success unlikely in London. So in August 1775, the colonies were formally declared to be in rebellion, traitors, by the proclamation of rebellion, and the petition was rejected by the British government, and King George didn't even bother to read it, declaring the colonists traitors. So there we go, and here we are. 1809, the Battle of Wagram between the French and Austrian Empire begins. This Battle of Wagram, 5th, 6th of July, 1809, was a military engagement of the Napoleonic Wars that ended in a costly but decisive victory for Emperor Napoleon's French and Allied armies against the Austrian army under the command of Archduke Charles of Austria-Teschen. The battle led to the breakup of the Fifth Coalition, the Austrian and British-led alliance against France. Wagram was the largest battle in European history up to that time. And I remember, maybe they put it on the back burner. I could be wrong, though. VUCA, I think, we're doing a game on Wagram.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's still being worked on. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I wasn't going bonkers. Right. Nope. 1813, the War of 1812. 3 weeks of British raids on Fort Schlosser, Black Rock, and Plattsburgh, New York, commence. And in 1814, again, the War of 1812, the Battle of Chippewa. American Major General Jacob Brown defeats, how dare he, British General Phineas Riall at Chippewa. Sorry.
It's Chippewa.
Chippewa, yes, see.
Chippewa.
When you want to see when we want to sort of roll the thing together like you should do with English towns and cities, I didn't, and it should be Chippewa, Ontario. Thank you, Nate. 1917, some would say the most famous World War I plane has its first flight. This is, of course, the Fokker DR-1 Dreidecker, famous World War I German triplane fighter aircraft. First flight today. And for those who have been living under, as I say, not that you have, but some people might not even know what this thing looks like. Let's have a look. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful.
Hang on, I gotta click on something.
There we go. Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. First flight today. So there we are.
That's awesome.
It is a good look. It is a good looking plane. I think the way they were test flying it, the guy took it up in the air and shot down 10 British planes with it in its test flight. Not wasn't even just seeing if it worked. And then we whiz forward to World War II. Foreign relations of Vichy France are severed with the United Kingdom. 1941, World War II. Operation Barbarossa. German troops reach the Dnieper River. And 43, World War II. An Allied invasion fleet sails for Sicily. It's Operation Husky time for July the 10th, 1943. But they set off today. 43 again, World War II. German forces begin a massive offensive against the Soviet Union at the Battle of Kursk, also known as Operation Citadel. And lastly, 1950, the Forgotten War, the Korean War. Task Force Smith, American and North Korean forces first clash in the Battle of Osan. There we are. Not a great deal going on, but there we are.
Well, I mean,
some interesting stuff, though.
The largest tank battle in human history.
Yes.
Supposedly, I mean, there's still some scholarship out there that's debating on the number of tanks that were involved in that battle, but still interesting nonetheless. So for Nate's notes, very excited. So I got
Nate, behave yourself.
I got a couple of books in recently, but I thought, one of these, I always love looking at, in particular, looking at the how other powers in the ancient world designed or developed and maintained their own armies. And so there's a lot of books out there on the Roman army, the Roman legions. How did they fight? What did they wear? What did they do on campaign? Not many books to look at the other ancient world powers that were out there. And I thought, I needed to find a book. So I did. And this is a fascinating book, especially for someone this might be for someone who wants to play this.
Hey!
SPQR, and is looking for maybe some inspiration, but also looking for things that they could then implement into their own game. For if you're on the opposing side of the Romans, that is, if you are playing as the Carthaginians. And here is a great book, Carthage at War, Punic Armies circa 814 to 146 BC by Joshua Hall. I got this actually from Amazon. It wasn't that, I think it was about $15, $16, something like that. But fascinating to look at the history of not only, it includes obviously a history of Carthage, the overview of Carthage, but looking more deeply into how did the Carthaginians actually design and develop their own military? Because the Carthaginians, unlike the Romans had a citizen army. The Republican legions were made up of citizens who owned land, who then had to supply their own weapons. And then they were categorized based on how old they were and how much, what tribe organization they were with. Whereas in Carthage had a very small citizen army and mostly fought in we would call a Greek style warfare, hoplites, a phalanx style warfare, not necessarily meant to kill people on a battle, on a battlefield? Obviously, if you could, yes, but more like as in traditional phalanx style, to push them, to literally push an enemy army off the field, as a phalanx would do. You know, I'm sure you've seen, and it's been well illustrated in movies of locking shields, pushing as hard as you can to get the enemy army to run. But Carthage had a very small, like I said, very small citizen militia. Most of their army is actually mercenaries. They're using the vast wealth of the Carthaginian Empire to hire mercenaries. And a lot of these, they would hire away from different peoples that had specialist skills in their militaries that they didn't have. So an example would be the Numidian light cavalry. The Numidians of North Africa were known as great cavalrymen. And so they hired a lot of them. In fact, later on, then the Romans got involved and actually started hiring Numidian cavalry for their own armies. The Carthaginians also, especially Hannibal, when he crosses into, as it's shown here, you know, Hannibal crossing the Alps, that he hires a lot of Gallic tribes that are just on the other side, north of Roman Italy, and hires them. Gallic tribes have a lot of heavy infantry, and using them, hired a lot of lighter infantry from Iberia, from Hispania, as the Carthaginians moved up into there. So it's a fascinating. I just keep going on and on. It's really.
I know you're on. Yeah, you can tell you love this. And,
I do. It's super cool because it's neat when you see somebody do so much good research on something that is not necessarily as well developed in scholarship as ancient Rome. So it's really cool to see someone actually spend time on researching this and looking at how Carthage fought its wars, particularly against Rome, and then ultimately lost. But it's an interesting look of how is it. Particularly, one of the things that always makes me interested is that Carthage goes up against Rome 3 times, and finally, the third time the city's destroyed, supposedly completely leveled, and then the fields are sown with salt to never let the city grow again until Julius Caesar revives the city and settles Roman soldiers there, and Carthage comes back. But Carthage loses to Rome on its first Punic War and loses territory, has to pay large indemnities towards the Romans, bounce back very quickly. Actually surprised the Romans how fastly they bounced back. Then second Punic War, and again, many years of fighting. The Carthaginians lose. Romans take all of their territory except the territory immediately outside the city of Carthage, and doesn't allow Carthage to go to war unless the Romans approve of it. And also imposes a crippling indemnity payment on them. And yet somehow they're able to bounce back again, surprise the Romans, actually scared them enough that they come and fight them again and then wipe them out. So it's an interesting look at how is it that a city-state, more or less, is able to fight as become a major power and potentially superpower in the Western Mediterranean. So I could go on and on. I'm so sorry if people are bored, but it's all
about education as well. And look at if you put Historic Wings' thing up, that did make me laugh. His comment about his British friend, because we know what that is. A space hopper was a big orange, like blown up rubber thing with 2 horns coming out of it, and kids sat astride it and bounced along. And this guy must have been on some sort of pharmaceutical extract to do that. But it did make me laugh.
Oh, all right. That's Nate's notes for today.
All right.
Thank
you. Let's see if I got my thing up here. Share my screen with you on my gem Jester's Gem this week is a game called Paths to Hell. This is a game that is 1,424 ranked on Board Game Geek. It is how many technical level games do we need, Ruff?
Just one more. Just one more.
That's right. That's right. And this is a technical level game that I don't think anyone actually ever plays, but it's actually pretty cool game. I actually own this game. I've played it a couple times. It's really neat how they taken the technical element and kind of some of the things they do with the attack charts here. There's like a scenario card here, very generic looking. That doesn't look that great, but there's a rule booklet. There's their charts, the fire factors. So depending on how much fire factors you have, there's all kinds of different modifiers there. Different terrains. The terrain is going to adjust your defensive tactics and how defensively you how hard it is for you to take damage. And it's based on the standard Warstorm series of rules. So there's several of these actually games in the system. It's a pretty cool game. And I don't think anyone ever talks about this one for some reason. There you go.
Well, you're right. It's not played a lot. There's a series of them, isn't there?
Yeah. There's several of them. One of them is actually the Spanish. What's it called? 1939. Let's see if it tells me here with the. No.
Oh, there's the solo. Yes, I remember the what's his name pointing across the map in the. That's the solo expansion for it.
Yeah, but I think if you're bored with a lot of the tactical games out there, you might want to give this one a look in and see if it's something that you might like. There you go.
Very good.
And I think it comes with dice, so I think you're
Stop it.
I'm pretty sure you're set there.
Hold on. Let me just write that down. No dice. Right, okay. Next.
So
plastic bags. Oh wait.
Stop it.
So let's talk about things that you that you think should be in war games, as long as Ruff and Nate agree that it should be in wargaming, and then we can go on from there.
Breathe.
So
What? Right.
do you have something? Do you want to talk about?
Let's twist that thing, because we discussed this in the green room. It said things in war games that you wish weren't in there. Yeah, I'm sort of twisting it around to say things in war magazines that shouldn't have war games in them. Not been very successful with war game magazines. They tend to be rushed, and I'd rather pay, seven squidlies for the magazine and get lots of info, rather than 40 quid for a half-assed game that's been rushed and put into the magazine. I think magazine games very rarely hit the thing on the head. I don't know what you guys think, but that's my one. War magazines shouldn't have war games in them.
I do. I would say I largely agree with you. There's only maybe one or two war game like in a magazine that I actually like a lot, that I think does really well. Their tendency seems to be that war game magazines have really fascinating topics that aren't necessarily stuff that you're going to see in a full-blown boxed version.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, due to the production, because the time of getting a magazine out quarterly or however, the distribution is of it, that it's the development is not enough. And it's just a little bit more care and attention to it. And there's only really a few I've seen that are good.
It's like the war game or the war magazine says, right, our next issue is on Luzon. We need a game. And you've got months to get it right, and you've bought a lot of war magazines with games in, so you might get a good one every so often.
Yeah.
My experience is I bought a few and they've all been a bit so that's my
and
people
honestly
mileage may vary, and I appreciate
would say a good chunk of the games that I'm getting rid of in my cull of my collection are magazine games. Not because I would say that they're bad. It's just, okay, that was fun for now. But I don't see myself coming back to it. And it was just fun for the one shot I had at it. And then, okay, I can take it or leave it. There's only one magazine magazine that I have come back to multiple times, and it's Pitt's War from Compass.
Yes, maybe you mentioned that.
I like that game a lot. But even then, that game had some problems. The rules were a bit of a mess. And so
do you find that you don't like these because they don't feel like complete games, or they're just...
I won't say what I was thinking.
They feel rushed. They've got months. You talk to Mike, you talk to the other game designers, years for their games to come out in some cases. Whereas a magazine game, they're rushed out. And I wouldn't mind it if they were something to make, to sell the magazine. Oh, we've got a free game next month, so that wouldn't be so bad. But to add $20, $30, $40 onto the price of a magazine because it's got a game in it, in my experience, hasn't been very successful.
I will say this.
Nobody said, there's been a couple of that, and is it ATO magazine has some good games in it. But generally speaking,
I mean, Stuka, you're right.
Stuka loves them because he likes to take them and tweak them and tweet and muck about with them, and that's great. I don't want to do that.
That's the thing where that's true, and I've done it myself. But there's such a plethora of games out there that I don't want to spend the time to try to fix it up.
I'd rather buy a game off the, in a box, and
you are correct, William. Yes, I don't know if you'd count them as a magazine game, but they are technically. I guess they are. I'll say
they come in a sort of plasticky thing as well, don't they?
Proper,
yeah.
But against the odds, I mean, I don't read any of the articles. I just come for the game. But Rome Inc. and Rome 2, I think they're great. I think they're great games. But they've been in development for a long time. There's not they don't have a lot of issues.
Yeah. It's a hangover from the early days, isn't it?
Yep. I agree, Dan. I
think they keep doing it over and over and over again. And
somebody must be enjoying them. It's just
people keep buying them. People keep doing,
I mean, I don't even buy them for the articles. I don't need to read.
It's a great article, like in the S&T one and the Modern Warfare one, and they had all this. There's some fantastic stuff in it.
Yes,
but the game. Yes. That's my point. Same as Nordic there, But as you say, everybody's opinion is different and wants are different. Nobody's right.
That one did look interesting. William Aaron's the Beyond Waterloo from John Prados Against the Odds. That did look interesting because I think they made that into a boxed edition.
I think, generally speaking, Against the Odds, as you say, it's not really a magazine. It's a game with a magazine. I think you have it around. And that's why they're a little bit more. The Air War game they brought out, which turned into that massive game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a war game with a magazine. That's different, I think.
Yep.
All right. What about you, Nate? Do you have something that you wish didn't, weren't included in the game that you think shouldn't be included in the game? I've got another one that's going to set people off here in a minute, I'm sure.
FFS, as the kids say.
Right. I would say Stuka, yeah, you actually
with these errata. Yeah, okay.
Not wrong.
He's not wrong
for sure.
Don't argue with that, Stu.
And unfortunately, it does depend upon. It's not something that it's necessarily that you can just point to a publisher, but sometimes you can point it to a designer / developer or whoever that you can point to and say, I think that their game is going to have a lot of errata in it. It's not just a whole publisher. I don't have anybody in name. I'm not like secretly thinking of people. I'm just mentioning it.
I could hear you. I could hear it.
You know who you're talking about.
That's right.
Well, we know who you're talking about.
No. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think a little bit more on this. Yeah, go ahead, Jester.
All right. Well, I don't want Dyson. I don't want to have. I mean, pretty much, I don't want to have inserts in the game. The other thing I know I've talked about this several times so far, and I know Ruff is going to have a cow about this again.
No,
I don't think for reasons. I'm not just making this up, right? I don't just try to make things up. Like, I give you my reasons for this. I don't think rule books should be in the box. Why would I say that? That's dumb. That's stupid. I know. But here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. Because you get a game brand new, shipped to you, ready to go. You start taking the shrink wrap off and reading the rule booklet, and you go online and realize there's already 50 edits that the publisher or the designers put in to change and update things. And so the rule booklet's been outdated because something was wrong or something was incorrect or whatever. So you're reading two reasons I'm saying this. Number one is because if you're reading a rule booklet, you're thinking the information you're reading is correct, which it could not be. It could be wrong because, instead of saying minus, they put plus, and you're thinking, oh, this is a minus. Right here in the rule book, it's a -2. I should be -2. So you're getting the bad information because you don't have the most up-to-date rule book. Hang on.
I'm going to come back on that because 90% of it I agree with, weirdly. But I do like my rule books. What grinds my gears, as you chaps say, is that the best way, why do I have to buy the second edition? They've been putting it in the chat there. Why do I have to buy the second edition to get the best version of the game? That's another thing that winds me up. The problem is I'm old and retired and I like a paper rule book, but I get what you're saying. As soon as you open that box, it could be full of errata, but I do like my yes, this is the problem. That's the thing that winds me up. You have to, but then you want the game now, don't you? And we fall for it every time. We buy the thing comes hot off the press, and there's tons of things or not wrong with it. But the second edition is okay. That does wind me up.
Let me, if I could.
Yeah, sure.
Doug asked me a question I wanted to answer.
Oh, about solo game?
Yes. So if you're meaning pure solitaire game, then it would be Rome Inc. or Rome 2 Inc. From Against the Odds. I do like those. If it is a game that you can play multiplayer, but you can just kind of two-hand it, then it would be either Imperium Romanum or Roma Victrix. So thank you. I appreciate that.
No, this is what we're here for, because you are the man. You are the man.
So when it comes to rule books, I'm with you, Ruff. I want a physical.
I'm old fashioned. You got your books. You love your books. We flick through them, don't we?
I don't like digital books. I don't. I have tried them. I don't read digital books. If I have to read something on my iPad or my phone for a game, I'm done. I'm out. In fact, if I open a game, or I get a game and I open that box and there is not a physical rule book in there, I'm out. I'll sell it. I won't play it.
It's because of our background. Maybe it's our sort of research, teaching. I read a lot of books, throughout my life, before anything like the internet was around. I'm older than you now, but there wasn't anything. There wasn't PDFs. There wasn't iPads and things. You had to read a book, and it just sticks with you. But I understand what Jester's saying. I do understand that, as soon as you open the rule book, you go online, it's like, oh, bloody hell, there's all this errata, which you have to either spend a fortune on reprinting, or you have to get the Tipex out and, start altering.
Yeah, but how many times, look at all these games that you have behind you. You have a nice collection. How many of these games have you actually gone through and edited the rule booklet to make sure everything's up to date?
To be fair, most games need a tweak or two. That's about it. More a clarification than an errata in my case. The only one that had a load of errata was Target for Tonight, which had 9 pages of errata. 9 pages of errata. Most of the others, Combat had a little bit, so I could sort of just write in the rule books, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I've been lucky, but things are going to happen. Things like Holland 44, they brought out a new version because Mark could update the counters, update the rule books. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't break the game. I can still play it, yeah? So it doesn't matter. It's that sort of, I'm with you, but I'm not. I'm like, I have to have a rule book to read through. Yeah, sort of, I have to. Oh, that's new. Yes.
Would it be better if game manufacturers had the, say, core rule booklet in the game box, and then had all of the peripheral stuff and like a document online that you could look up and read about? Like, here's how to play, and they have the core rule booklet, like the stuff that's not going to change, like the stuff that is the core mechanisms to the game is like in the book, but then you have like the rules online that they could edit and change and manipulate.
Well, that's like GMT do with their living rules, isn't it? They tweak and change them as time goes on. There's certain games that are so right that they don't need to. One of them is the one I just mentioned earlier, was the Battles of the American Revolution. They said they've updated the rules. All they've done is made it nicer, made it more color. They put things in boxes. But comparing these rules to the 2017 ones for the first tri-pack, there's hardly any difference. This is such a sort of sort out rules. You've got the standard rules that will go across the board. Then you've got the exclusive rules for each of the battles. So sometimes they get it right.
So a couple of things. I'll circle back to. I had a point about printing off the rule book like that, but I do want to highlight Nordic's comment. I would rather the game companies take the extra time to go over these rule books and playbooks with a fine-tooth comb for errors than rush the stuff to market. And I think I totally agree with that. I do think that one of the reasons that
or to bed, nerd.
I do think that one of the reasons that we see, especially like Some games, the rules are just awful. Rules or playbook, they're just awful. You can't even play the game, and it just, the companies need to slow down. Just need to slow down. And I don't pretend to know anything about the war game like market and all the the money involved and everything. I don't know anything about that, but I do know that rushing a game out of look how many new games come out like every month. It just
I'm getting a thought through from you there. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, don't need to
there's so many that come out so quickly that I still remember even I'm a young guy.
It's not the attitude, Mike. Is it? It's not the attitude.
Even when I was a kid, I'd get maybe 2 or 3 brand new games that I was looking forward to in a year. Now we're getting 10, 15, 20 new games just from like one company.
I forget the amount of games that come out every year, and I read it. Somebody had published, and it's with what? This is across the board, not just war games. It's what?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see a law of diminishing returns eventually hitting, and I know it's already happening in the Euro game market.
You guys have any of the standard combat series?
Well, hold on one quick second. So I agree with that. I think that if you're going to keep print rule books, and I want that, then and you want less errors in that rule book, then you need to spend more time on making sure that game is right. And one thing that grinds my gears a little bit is that I know of, and I won't name the company, that I know that one company in particular, they'll print their game and it'll be sitting in a warehouse for I don't know how long until they decide to then release it. And lo and behold, the game comes out and the rule book is, has problems and things like that. And that's where like you should have spent time and gone through that. And you should have fixed those problems and printed them off and put them in the boxes before it sent it out to me. It's not my fault as the customer to go get a new copy of that rule book because the publisher didn't do their due diligence
and print off 60 odd pages, at a cost of what,
because I have one game in particular that I went and reprinted the rule book because someone had redone it and it was better. That cost me to have it professionally printed was like $100. And I'm like, I don't want to spend that. I've already spent the money on the game. I don't want to spend any more money. But the second thing is that Coy brought up. I mean, he says, why have a game box, just the game online and you can print it off? I mean, sure. I mean, I guess my line of thought is like, the reason that I come to board games is I don't want to look at a screen. I don't want any more digital stuff. I have enough already in my life. I want non-digital stuff. So that's the reason.
And I don't think it's Mike said, if you're not technically, I've been into computers since they came out. I'm that old. So I'm not, my tech, I am hip with computers and things because I've been using them since, the BBC computer came out and before, an Atari and all that. So I know what computers do. I don't think it's that. I just think it's the case of I just open the box, the smell, and there's the rule book. Mm-hmm. And you open it up. And you're quite right, I think. But the problem is, of course, is that designers keep saying to read through, proofreaders, they may have 2 or 3 or 10 at the most. And you get blind to reading a rule book after a while. So I understand that as well. But please don't stop paper rule books. I love them.
And, like I said, I mean, I agree with you. I don't pretend to know anything about how to make a war game and how designing, developing, and publishing a war game works. I don't know that at all. I just I'm just a customer that wants the game to be correct.
Yes, not quite that old, but yes, ZX81, yes, or ZX80 even, yes.
What I was saying earlier is if you have like the standard combat series of games, they have like 8-page rule booklet. We all know that, right? Yep. So there's like the core rule booklet, which is separate, and then they have whatever boxed edition rules that go with whatever that is. Mm-hmm. wouldn't it be better if more games did that same kind of thing where you have the core rule booklet in the game and then you have the extra thing that you're going to have errata on online? Wouldn't that make more sense?
Well, I think the main errata comes with the core rulebooks. To be fair, rather than the module exclusive rules of the game. You know, in my opinion, that it's the core rulebooks that have the problems and cause the problems, because if you haven't got the core rules right, it doesn't matter that these exclusive rules for that module are correct. Even though some do say that the exclusive rules override the core rules. So, you know, here we go. But I've not come across too much problem. The only one that really peed me off, and I don't think it's, you know, anybody, well, it's DVG, I know, but it's Spruance. Dean rewrote the entire rule book, and you can print it off, and it's not a small rule book, so you've got to print off whatever it is, 60, 80 pages. I think I've got the old rule book here somewhere. Yeah, well, it's 50 pages, and I could go through looking on the online thing and writing and scribbling and moving, or print out another 50-page rule book. That's going to cost me 20, 25 quid, you know, for a couple of cartridges, or, well, yeah, whatever, even more maybe. That sort of thing, as you guys say, grind my gears. Yeah, but it's something we live with because it's such a small thing within a thing, our hobby is. And I think Wargamers put up with a lot when it comes to their games, I think, because they love the hobby. Whether or not that makes the producers, the game producers, say they love it anyway, they love their hobby. And, okay, we'll send out erratas, and I don't know. Maybe they're not that evil, but, you know, it does make me wonder sometimes. Yeah, and Nerdy's right. Yeah.
Well, this is all stem from the question. The question was things that are in war games that we wish weren't in war games, and I'd mentioned I don't think that we should have rule booklets in our war games, and the reasons why. So,
and that's fair enough. But other people think I want a rule book, paper rule book. So they're both valid. It's just, you know, nobody's wrong. Everybody has opinions.
Well, let me ask this in the Eurogame space, because you're more into that, Jester. How many games don't come with a rule book?
They all come with rule booklets.
Okay. So not even the Eurogame companies have even experimented with that idea yet.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because Wargame, I'm curious. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking in terms of, like, I'm curious where the publishers are going. Like, you know, which one
I did things out. I foresee a time where instead of a rule booklet, you're going to get a QR code on your box, and you're going to scan it. Boop. And you're gonna, oh, look, here's my rule booklet. Oh, cool.
Doug, yeah, Imperium Romanum, it's the Decision Games version of it. It's also known as Imperium Romanum 3 or Al Nofi's Imperium Romanum. Yeah, it's fun, but also Roma Victrix from Compass. I'd say if you're gonna go for the first one, I'd go for Roma Victrix first. Imperium Romanum is pretty heavy. It's a pretty complex, heavy game. It's fun. I enjoy it. But I think if you want to get into Ancients, pick Roma Victrix first.
I think what he needs to do is he needs to play Styanax. Styanax is a warframe that is basically a Spartan gladiator. He throws javelins. He's got a big shield.
But it looks like out the Alien films.
You're right. Nordic, I agree. The more
unless, of course, it was half price, and you had the choice. It's like in some of the games I love to play, Ameritrash games like Nemesis and Stalker. There are two versions. You can either have it with grey minis, or you can have Sundrop minis where they've done this Sundrop effect on them. Costs more. And if they did that with games, you can have with a rule book and it will cost X, or you can have it without and you download the rule book and do what you like with it and print it off or keep it on your iPad or whatever. That's fine. That's fine. That's the way it should go. As long as without a rule book was cheaper, maybe then we'd see.
Well, I mean, there are games that like ASL comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
You have to spend $80 to $100 for the rule booklet, or you can download it for free. So you tell me which is cheaper.
I mean, the concern though is that the more digitized that a board game or war game, whatever.
Sorry, Mrs. R is just off to bed, so just saying good night to her. Sorry.
Good
night, everyone says.
The more digitized board games become, there is a concern that when that company may or may not exist in 5 or 6 years, or that app that they developed, or the place that the rulebook is stored online for the cloud for people to access it is not available, then all of a sudden you have a dead game. So example would be like, I don't know if this is true or not. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the game U-Boot that required you to have that app is no longer.
Apps. That's another thing, isn't it? Yes.
That
Sorry, I'm pointing up here because I'm seeing comments, but on YouTube, they're down there.
Right.
So I don't know what you're pointing at. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm pointing at what. Toy's saying printer ink is expensive. Yes, it blooming is.
That I believe that game that it required an app, and the app, my understanding is the app is not being developed anymore. It's not being updated anymore. So you basically have a dead game. And that can be something that like an example would be that my friends and I are going to be getting together on Monday to play a game from an old strategy and tactics game. But I went to go find the rules. It wasn't posted online. Couldn't find the rules anywhere. Now, thankfully, the friend had he scanned them all and sent them to us so that we could read them before we played. But I couldn't find the rules anymore. Or
was that an old? Who published it before Strategy and Tactics?
It was FPI.
You can find SPI rules online if you search.
And that is, but
they've changed them dramatically. Once
those rules are in that it's so this. But here's again that those things are available through the graciousness and kindness of regular people. The publisher who owns the rights to it does not make them available. So they are officially dead. They are dead games. And things like Avalon Hill games, Hasbro Interactive owns the rights to Avalon Hill. They do not have the rule books for their old Avalon Hill games anymore available. Unless someone is kind enough to give you a copy of it. So the game is dead. So that's the fear, is the more digitized that a game becomes when, God forbid that, say, like a GMT goes out of business and their rule books aren't available anymore.
So I've got most of their games. It's all right.
Right. But think about it. If the rules were only digitally available, that you bought the game and it came with everything but the rules, and then the company went out of business and you did not know anyone that could give you a scan of those rules, goodbye. You have a worthless piece of junk.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
little soapbox.
That's
so true, and that's that's why I don't buy games with apps, because
a lot of your complaints, right? A lot of your complaints. Again, I hear you. I'm not arguing with you. I agree with what you're saying.
I feel validated.
But this is the way the world is headed towards. Okay, this is the way the world is headed towards. Yeah, really.
I don't think the world is getting more digitized. I think the world is actually moving away from
let me make a point
entertainment.
about that. Everybody
Really?
thinks.
Are you kidding me?
Sorry,
Oh,
Chester. Let me just make
you
a
can-
point, if I may.
Oh, he's just trying to wind me up, isn't he? He's trying to
No. You're saying it's all becoming digital, but look at some of the kids now. They're going back to the way things used to be with analog. You know, I'm talking music. I'm talking vinyls. They're playing vinyls because they want that old school sound. These are kids. My soon to be, I hope, brother and son-in-law, he's got a turntable. Who buys a turntable? Kids buy turntables to put their vinyls on, which are very fashionable. So I don't think it'll die out completely. So some of the kids will discover, oh, they should have paper rule books. Right, let's get those off of eBay or whatever.
So I think this part of why I asked that is I think Ruff is correct in that there's a differences in generations that that the older generation is very much still fascinated with digital stuff, and that is growing. And of course, younger generation, obviously, there is a lot of
they play their video games and all that.
Yes. But there has been in the last 5 years a massive resurgence in physical things because people are particularly like I'll give you an example in video games where that people are noticing that companies now, because when you buy a video game, you don't actually own that game. You own a license to play that game. So the company then can decide whenever they want to revoke that license, and all of a sudden it's gone out of your library. An example would be the company Ubisoft. The Ubisoft just says you don't even own anything, and you have to be happy about that. And people are saying, no, I bought this, it's mine. And so it's coming.
Like Magic the Gathering, the arena.
You guys are on drugs. You guys are on drugs. I don't know what. I go away for a couple weeks, and this show has gone to hell in a handbasket. Every single thing that I've done on the cruise was done electronically. Like everything I had to scan. Like when I showed up at the port, I had my phone. I put my phone on the little kiosk. It pulled up my name, date,
bank
address,
accounts,
everything.
Bank accounts, everything.
When I'm on the ship, right? When I'm on the ship, I didn't have to sign anything. It was all done electronically with the key cards.
And that's great. We're talking about that. We're talking about hobbies. We're talking about value in life, things you love to do. You know, I love to read books. I love to read paper stuff. I love to play games that I can touch the bits on.
I am all year long. I am surrounded by thousands of young people, and I love just
look at you youngster. Go on.
and of course, and I watch. People are interested in not just. I mean, people do still stare at their phones, but I have noticed more and more people are moving away from things like that, whereas older generations are still very much attached to those things,
and they give that love to their kids. You know, it's like my boy; he loves his vinyls. You know, he remembers that I've got them. Oh, what's these I found in the loft, Dad? They're LPs. I'll get a deck. You know, I'll get a record player. And he sits. You know, I think things like bank accounts, great. I love digital bank. You know, banking digitally is great, and paying for stuff and ordering stuff online and all that is brilliant. But when it comes to the things I love, for me, I've got to have a touchy-feely thing. I'm sorry, that's just me. You know, be it a rule book, be it a game, be it, you know, whatever, you know.
But it's nice that I have a board game.
You guys are living in
and I could say I own
we're just living, you know, we embrace technology, but
I know you do, and I appreciate you trying to hold on to the old days, and it's great that you do this.
But the kids are holding on to the old things.
Are going.
Confidence.
It's not the way things are going. 1990 called, and they want their scanner back. So it's just not the way it's going to happen anymore. everything's done electronically. Everything is going electronically.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter how hard you continue to hold on.
You seem to think you're talking like you have the answer, that you've been into the future and seen it. Yeah. So you've come back and said, no, you're wrong.
I have seen the last 5 years what has happened.
You have an opinion, and I respect that opinion because it's your opinion. But it might not be my opinion or Nate's opinion. Some of the people in the chat might agree with your opinion.
He's looked at
make it right.
He's looked at the entrails of the sheep, and
I've thrown the old rune dice.
That's right. And the Temple of Vesta.
I can tell you what I experienced in reality, in real life, in the last 6 months. I can see what's happening.
See, what we did was
let's talk about this. Since you keep refusing to see what things are happening,
we unplugged.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So you keep refusing to see what happening. How many board games are getting digital adaptations nowadays?
Different opinion.
Oh man,
nobody's right. Mileage may vary. And that's what makes the world go round. Lock and load, everyone.
Oh, that's too
bad. There's a difference between having an opinion, and then there's a difference between having an opinion, and there's also a difference between seeing what reality is and hoping that it doesn't change.
So what you're saying I'm saying with love, is that you have the right opinion, but everybody else.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I see this. Boom, 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 and then you argue with it.
I'm not arguing.
It's wrong. How do you continue to do that every time?
I'm not arguing. I just have a different opinion.
No, you're telling me I'm wrong. Everything I've done this whole show has been wrong, and everything I've said has been wrong this whole show. And how you have a different opinion that's correct.
My opinion is my
Even
opinion.
though I just got done telling you that I spent 2 weeks on a ship and didn't spend one.
What is it they say about bum holes? Everybody opinions like bum holes. Everybody has one. It's
all right. So, gentlemen, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah,
we're gonna put this to an end. I don't really care whether or not your opinion. Do you think your opinion is right or not? I really don't care.
I don't care.
I'm here just to. I'm going to share my thought. I don't care if you think I'm right or wrong. It doesn't matter. Pray. Everybody, you can just say whatever you want, and that's fine. We'll move
on, brother. On.
We are done with this. I'm getting a little patience wearing thin on this. So we are near the end of our 2 hours. So we are going to wrap this up. Gentlemen, what are you doing this week? Jester, are you going to be playing any war games at all? Or are you going to go back to Warframe?
I will. I don't know what my schedule is this week, but it's probably going to be pretty much the same thing as it's been the last week. Trying to get back into life as coming back from the vacation, and just going to see what happens. I don't have any plans.
Ruff?
I'm going to spend the rest of the week fondling my dice.
Awesome.
But we're going to be playing some more Battles of the American Revolution next Friday with the designer, Mark Miklos. So hopefully that'll be good. Trying to get some stuff done on the channel video-wise. Just watch this space. I'll try and get it out as quick as I can. But yeah. Cool. And you, what about you, Nate?
Me, like I said, gaming buddies are coming over on Monday. So I took the day off on Monday as well. And we're going to be playing. It's a S&T magazine called, I think it's just called 7 Years War. So it'll be interesting. Well, one of them had it. He's had it in his collection for a while. I don't think he's ever gotten to play it. So we're going to play it and see how it is and hope that it's fun. Yeah. So this has been an interesting show.
It has been quite interesting.
Quite interesting.
And maybe
back with a bang. And So next week, I think it's on Ruff's channel, right?
But I think it's your topic.
Sure. Okay. I will let think of something and
just let me know. And of course, every topic you pick, Nate, is fantastic. No, it is.
It fills me with love.
That's how it should be. Bless your heart. Yeah.
Of course, Sark, I'll be working on my dissertation. That will actually be happening when I get off
When
of
is
here.
this, when is this blooming dissertation finishing, Nate? When is it?
Like next year, hopefully.
Bloody hell.
I mean, who knows? It could go longer. It really depends on the research. It depends on talking to my director and my committee and seeing where they think that that I'm at and where I need to go and if I need to change anything. So a lot of it is just take it, you cross bridges as you come to them. But for right now, I'm doing a lot of extra research. And yeah, nerd. And
I'm going to say that in a minute, nerdy. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of extra research right now. You can't read it right now. Nothing's posted. You can read my master's thesis that's posted. But yeah, so we'll keep going on it. So
I dare say once he does it, he's going to post it. So you'll be able to read it.
I will.
There's so much work into it. He's going to make sure, look, if you want to read it, read it. And as Nerdy says, I know it's been a bit of a weird one. But we love you all.
Of course.
There's nothing you lot can do about it. So tune in next week. Be on my channel. Nate's topic to be thingy. I'll put up a thumbnail day or two before the show, so everybody knows what's going on. So thanks everyone for joining. So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for coming by. Appreciate it. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, suggestions, let us know. If there's a topic that we have not talked about that you would like to have us talk about, leave a comment down below. Maybe we'll use your topic coming up next time. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, we've got to watch Nerdy's show for our next topic because that's what.
Yeah, we got to see what he's what his video is this week, and then we'll probably copy and paste. That's what we do on this channel. All right, guys, we'll see you next week over on Ruff's channel.
Bye, everybody.
Love you.